morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way to make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my happiness, you know it makes me smile. It pleases me to have you here for just a little while we open up the spaces, try to break some chains. And if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way to make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. The words aren't up, but they are in your program, in the still small voice.
Okay.
In the still small voice, listen for an answer. It may be a whisper, sounding like a dream. In the still small voice, there will be an answer. It is the voice of God. Listen for the voice of God. In the still small voice, listen for an answer. It may be a whisper, sounding like a dream. In the still small voice, there will be an answer. It is the voice of God. Listen for the voice of God. One more time. In the still small voice, listen for an answer. It may be a whisper, sounding like a dream. In the still small voice, there will be an answer. It is the voice of God. Listen for the voice of God.
Beautiful, beautiful as always. Thank you so much. All right, well, welcome everyone. Thanks for braving the wintry mix outside. There's Debbie, yay.
It's trying to snow out there.
I know, I got them all warmed up for you. We're ready to go. All right, we'll just give her a moment. We have new people. We have our friendly little puppy dog over there. And Miss Debbie Clay is here to run the show, so yay!
Sorry, Cindy, I didn't mean to give you like a panic attack. But sometimes Sunday mornings are unexpected, aren't they? Things happen. Okay, welcome everybody. Do we have our musical guests here?
We have, and yep, they're ready for Unity Happenings.
Okay, do you want to get started?
We already did.
You already did the opening? Okay. Do we have our guest speaker?
Unity Happenings.
Yeah, we're actually doing that via Skype this morning with Miss Joanna Gabriel.
Via Skype.
Yeah.
We're gonna be digital. Hey. Okay. All right. Sorry. Here we are. I'm catching up.
Yes.
Okay. I want to welcome everybody. Good morning, everybody. Is there anybody here for the very first time? Oh, good. We have some new people. Did you get your red hearts? You did. I'm seeing nods. Okay, great. We will explain that in a second. Let's see. I do want to thank the people that helped make Sunday mornings a wonderful experience. As you know, our musicians today are Sally and Jamie McAllister. Our guest speaker via Skype will be Reverend Joanna Gabriel. Our board member of the week is Kat Bray. She's also ushering, so she's doing double duty. The chaplains are Marilyn and Nora, and our youth ed champion is Cindy. Hospitality hosts are Ann Miller and Mary Ellen Babbitt. Spick and Span Angels, it says everybody here, so please pitch in, okay? All right, and our technology director, Mark Swink. Thank you, Mark. He helps make everything happen on the screen and audio and on the interwebs, as one of my friends likes to say. And our office assistant is Susan Henderson. She does a lot of things behind the scenes, and so we're very grateful for her. So, if you don't know me, I'm Debbie Clay. Thank you. Okay. All right, so I think it's time now for the heart song.
We're at Unity.
You already did the heart song. Okay, how about the congregational song? You already did that?
Unity update.
Okay. So, November 7th, this coming week, Susanna Claire will be doing her New Moon Circle, Spiritual Star Talks, and it includes a mini reading. It's $15 per class. There's more information in your bulletin here. If you haven't been before, it helps if you let her know ahead of time details like your birth date and so on, so she can work up a little profile for you, and that gets things rolling. And we have some other fine musicians coming up soon. I'm going to let you peruse those in your bulletin, and I'm sure our board member of the week will also have some details about that. Okay, the Red Heart welcome. I don't see a little red heart up here, but I'll pretend I'm holding one. Okay, if you're new today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. And we want you to know that no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you're always welcomed here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each one of us, and we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. And for those of you, excuse me, for those of you who are visiting us for the first time today, we ask you to join us for at least 2 more times because we have a diversity of speakers and it's always different. So we want you to get to know us. Okay. Board member of the week, Kat, are you available?
Actually, we have to substitute.
Okay, Cindy.
Oh, there we go.
Cindy, take it
There
away,
we go.
Cindy.
Now we'll put on that.
There we go. Kat was here. She helped set up, but she's on a mission, and so we're gonna work with that. All right. So as you can see, the technology fund items are up and running. Yay! Just in time for our winter weather that we're experiencing. Our speaker today, Reverend Joanna Gabriel, will be joining us via Skype because of the winter weather and the potentially unsafe road conditions. If you wish, you may continue to contribute a separate amount toward the technology fund to reimburse our savings account along with your Sunday contribution. At our annual meeting on October 22nd, we discussed purchasing the technology equipment and needing volunteers interested in learning how to run that equipment. Sign-up sheet is out there in the fellowship area. We already have 2 people signed up, so we'll be working on that very soon. Yay, thank you. Let's see. We also discussed the fast approaching holiday season with both Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve on a Sunday. We've got something already started in the works. Sally signed up for the holiday planning committee. I'm going to update you a little bit on that. We've got some ideas flowing. We've got some things going. We are going to have an evening candlelight service. For those of you that felt very strongly about that at the meeting, we are definitely working on that, and it's going to be pretty cool. So stay tuned, but if you have any ideas, please get involved. Let us know what you're thinking, what you'd like to see happen. Let's see. We also need volunteers to sign up for our Spick and Span group. Calendar's in the kitchen. If you have any questions, please talk to Mary Ellen. At the board meeting, we elected new board members. That information is listed on the back of your bulletin. On Saturday, November 18th, we have our Thanks for Giving event. There's a sign-up sheet out in the fellowship area for what you'd like to bring. It's kind of potluck event that we do on an annual basis. That's Saturday the 18th, and I believe we've got it scheduled for 5:30. We want to remind you that we are live streaming our service, so please keep conversation down because it does get picked up, especially during the candle lighting and the paper burning. Let's see, the Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation on Tuesday nights. On Tuesday, November 7th, drumming with Walter Mahler. This is an ancient group experience that can be a gateway to going deeper. It is simple, no complex exercises, no complex rituals, no complex images, etc. Just show up, no drum necessary. Calendars. Unity Worldwide has issued these calendars and sent us some. I have a phone number posted up on the bulletin board. Everybody can call to get one free. But if you'd like additional ones to share with friends and family, we're doing a pre-order, 50 cents each, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, these are the neatest things I think I've ever seen. They've got lovely pictures, they've got affirmations, they've got the holidays, the moon phases, and then on the very back, it even has the phone number for Silent Unity and all kinds of really cool stuff. And then we're going to do a bulk order, and we're going to put our label on the back so that you can hand them out to friends and family and anybody you might happen to meet. But for pre-order, 50 cents. We will have more available in the bookstore later, but we're probably going to bump it up a little bit for fundraising. So there's a sign-up sheet if you'd like to pre-order some. So get on there and we'll let you know, or we'll get them ordered and then we can hand them out. I think they're awesome. All right, our next board meeting is next Sunday after service. We'll continue to keep you updated, but if you have any questions or concerns, please see a board member. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I need somebody else on that committee.
Okay.
It's only me.
Well, it's you and me, and the board, and whoever else wants to
Okay.
chime in. It's all good. You're gonna help me coordinate music, and we've even got possibly another musician. So we just need the ideas. Feel free,
Yeah.
please let us know. It's about what we all want, not just what we may want, or I may want, or the board may want. It's what we want. We're in charge. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Wait, are you gonna talk about the Rooted in Peace?
Yes, thank you very much. Friday night, this coming Friday night, November 10th, we are going to be showing Rooted in Peace. So if you'd like to join us, please do. It's a love offering of $10, and half of that we get to keep, and the other half we send on to the promoters of that film. I've got it posted on Facebook, so if you'd like to watch the trailer of the event, it is on there. Looks like it's going to be a really, really interesting movie that, you know, speaks to a lot of what we all believe in peace and spreading the joy and trying to be the positive light in the sometimes very darkest of times. So if you're interested, please share the information. It is on Facebook, but for those of you that aren't on Facebook, check with me later. I'll bring it up and you can watch it. All right? Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Cindy, I believe we're asking a ticket price of $10, is
Love
that right?
offering.
Yeah.
A love offering of $10 a ticket, okay. Thank you, because that is a fundraiser for the church. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to light the Christ candle now. This represents the Christ light within each one of us that we get to share with the world. There's no wick there.
Me too.
All right, on the screen we have our mission statement. Can we say this together? We are a welcoming community supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth. Thank you. Okay. We're going to have a time of greeting each other. I'm going to remind you to please keep it short because following the service we will have fellowship time and time to have refreshments and so on. And if you, we tend to be a hugging church. If you don't want to be hugged, shove out your hand real quick. If you do hug, hug gently. Sometimes people have invisible hurts, you might say. So be gentle. So let's greet each other this morning.
I'll start with you.
Like your slide. Ladies and Maryland. Would you like a hug? Very good. You're gonna get up, right? Be a wife. Yes, you did. Okay. Mingle a bit. Good seeing you folks.
If you'd come back to your seats, we have some more music.
I can see he's ready. This is a fun one, so we'll just keep on going with it because it's really short. No matter what, I rise above. No matter what, I will be filled with love. No matter what, I let the light of God shine, shine, shine. No matter what, I'm gonna rise above. No matter what, I will be filled with love. No matter what, I'll let the light of God shine, shine, shine. No matter what, I'm gonna rise above. No matter what, I will be filled with love. No matter what, I'll let the light of God shine, shine, shine. Today's daily word, divine order. I gratefully surrender to the spiritual certainty that my life is in divine order. The idea of surrender can feel alarming to my limited mortal mind and seemingly synonymous with defeat. In truth, however, surrender is an essential spiritual step that allows divine order to guide every choice and challenge in my life. Divine order is the essence of all life, the infinite love in which I live and move and have my being, from Acts 17:28. Divine order is always present and always expressing. So any perceived absence of order tells me that I am allowing my mortal mind to stray from the loving guidance of my spiritual self. And that's self with a capital S. We know what that means. Divine order is my choice. I exchange fear-based priorities and expectations for the presence within, my constant loving guide to a life of joy and peace. From Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For surely I know the plans I have for you, to give you a future with hope. Today I gratefully surrender to the spiritual certainty that my life is in divine order. God bless us. We shall cross that mighty river if we all go hand in hand. If we build our bridge together, on that other shore we'll stand. We shall cross that mighty river when we all get unified. We shall cross that mighty river by and by. And we shall cross that mighty river if we all go hand in hand. If we build our bridge together, on that other shore we'll stand. We shall cross that mighty river when we all get unified. We shall cross that mighty river by and by. One more time. We shall cross that mighty river if we all go hand in hand. If we build our bridge together, on that other shore we'll stand. We shall cross that mighty river when we all get unified. We shall cross that mighty river by and by.
I'm going to do this song. We lost, well, we didn't lose, but from this plane, we lost Glenn Campbell. And this time I'm going to do this song, and I've done this song a few times before. Okay, I just... I've done the song 10,000 times. I can't think of the tune. Oh my gosh. No, I can think of that. I'll do it. I can do it.
Mama knows best.
Let Mama help you.
Oh, yeah.
We work together.
Okay, I got it. Still have it. Sorry.
Just make sense.
If you see your brother standing by the road with every load of the seas he sold, and if you see your sister falling by the way, just stop and say, you're going the wrong way. You've got to try a little kindness, to show a little kindness. Just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street. Don't walk around out and out, lend a helping hand, and head of doubt. And the kindness that you show every day will help someone along their way. You got to try a little kindness, just show a little kindness, just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people, on the narrow-minded street. One more time. You've got to try a little kindness, just show a little kindness, just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street.
Thank you, Jamie. That was perfect. It really was. It really was. Sometimes we struggle on a day-to-day basis. What's my part? You know, what can I do to make things better? That song answers it, doesn't it?
Divine order.
And now our guest speaker via Skype, Reverend Joanna Gabriel.
Can't hear you.
Front row.
Can you hear me? Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here with you. I miss your hugs, though. That's the part. It's hard, but thank you to Cindy and Mark for getting this all together so we could do this. I wasn't concerned about the weather here or where you are, but it was in between where it was predicted to be pretty bad, and my concern was that if it got to snowing around the Hood Canal and the traffic got bogged down, I wouldn't be able to get to you in time. And I didn't want that. So we're doing it this way, and I hope this all works. I have done many classes by Skype, but this is my first Sunday morning by Skype, so it's so cool that it's with you all. I have been watching this service, and I want you to know you look great on Skype. Well, wow. Well, let's settle down now. We're all here. We're all here together. We live in a time where we can be together digitally like this. It's a miracle, isn't it? It really is. Anyway, I'm sitting here amongst the woods, the trees, the grandfather trees here on Whidbey, and I just had a unique opportunity to just be here watching you and feeling you and observing you in the sweet community that you are. And I'm very grateful for it. I'm very grateful for all of you, and I hope you know what a sweet community you are, what a vital community that you are. And I just want to say that. I don't know how often we get to say that and acknowledge each other that way. It's really, really important. And to be all the way up here, many, many miles away, observing the service and the hearts and the music and the hugs, it's very sweet. Very sweet. What a blessing. So anyway, when I told Cindy what this talk would be about, I never dreamt it would come on a Sunday when the first Sunday in November that we have snow. Does it seem like it's coming a little early this year? I don't know, maybe not, but it feels like it to me. When I thought about this as autumn gold, I know the last time I was there, and these last few weeks, the trees have gotten such vibrant color. And also, the leaves have stayed on the trees for a long time. Doesn't it seem like they've hung in there for a long time? And I've noticed that the reds and the golds have been so vibrant, more so than usual, it seems. And then I think back, remember summer, way back to summer? Doesn't that seem like a long time ago now? The hydrangeas were so big and beautiful. And I remember in the spring when the dogwoods were blooming, there were so many blossoms on the dogwoods this year that they were kind of heavy, kind of dragging because there were so many blossoms on them. And I've been wondering about that. And I think that Mother Nature is up to something. I do. I think that with this crazy world that we're living in, that she has decided to balance it with lots and lots and lots and even more beauty. Extra beauty, extra gold and red and gorgeous leaves, extra lilacs, extra dogwood. Think that's possible? It's almost like as we're kind of confused and running around bumping into each other, trying to decide what's true and what's not and everything else, that nature is just in its wisdom and its grace and its strength, it's just showing up. And so we may have an interesting winter for a lot of reasons, but I think that it's helpful and maybe useful to kind of pay attention to how she is showing up to support us, to lift us up with her beauty and her grace. And that's really all I have to say. You know me, I've got plenty more I could say. Anyway, you know how we in the Pacific Northwest tend sometimes to get a little sad, and some of us even get a little depressed when the time changes back and everything, and we know it's winter, because we know we're not going to see the sun as much as we have over the last several months. And a lot of us get kind of down and depressed about that, because we are great appreciators of the sun, aren't we? Yeah. And so I wanted to speak a little bit about that. And there's this poem by Robert Frost. I don't think it's one of his most famous ones, but I kind of like it. It's called Nothing Gold Can Stay. It's short. It goes like this. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. And so there's this moment, it seems, to acknowledge the fact that we're moving into a different time where there's not as much light, there's not as much warmth, it's not as bright. And what do we do with that? How are we supposed to handle that? And how nature just goes through its cycles. It doesn't stop and consider it. It doesn't worry about it. It does. If you were to ask one of the trees that's dropping its leaves if it considered not doing it this year or anything like that, no. Nature doesn't hesitate, doesn't worry about the cycles or whether or not spring is going to come. Nature does what it does and trusts the process. It trusts the process and understands that each part of the cycle is vitally important. Like in the spring when the leaves, the buds come out and the leaves start to grow, we have this amazing opportunity for life to begin and to begin to come forth. And then we come into summer and it's all growing and beautiful. And then into fall, it's like everything just comes radiant. It's like, you think this is beautiful? Watch this. And then it gets all amazingly vibrant in golds and reds. And then the next thing that's happened is everything drops off and it goes dormant. And the trees look dead. Things look dead. We're very fortunate here in the Northwest because we get to keep so much green in the winter with our evergreens, and the grass stays green. I don't know if any of you ever experienced winter in other parts of the country, but it's not like that. It's gray and dark, and the grass is brown and dead, and everything is dead, and it looks like, oh my goodness sake, it's pretty gray and grim. But that's also a vibrant part of the cycle, because in its dormancy, life is regrouping, it's restoring itself, it's coming back to the center and being rejuvenated to prepare for the next cycle of growth. And that is a vital part of the whole process, isn't it? We have to have that part. And so very often it's easy to forget that. I know if you are an artist or a musician or a poet, a writer, you know that there are times when you're not writing. It's a fallow time, and some people get very nervous about that. Oh my gosh, the spark is gone. Oh my gosh, what happened to my inspiration? But the truth is that there needs to be a downtime when there's restoration happening, where it's all coming back to center, to be renewed, to be reminded of what it comes from, of whence it comes, of what it's a part of, which is the center, source energy. Do you see how nature reminds us of who we are? That we have to move back in to where life is sourced, in the center, on the inner. I found this really cool quote from this man, Norris Burks, who's an Air National Guard chaplain. But anyway, he wrote, "I ponder the tremendous irony that this beauty can only occur through the surrender of life. Leaves surrender their lives as they migrate to the ground, where they sow new life in dirt that first spawned them, resurrecting a beauty that the artist longs to replicate and the columnist finds impossible to describe." This cycle of life is vital to life itself, and we're participating in it moment to moment, day to day, all the time. Most of the time we're not paying attention. Back in the day, our ancestors, and even not so far back, there was a time when this harvest time was really, really important, because this is when we brought in the products, the fruits of the growing cycle over spring and summer. This is what we were going to have to live, to get through the winter. The food, and we were going to have the food and supplies for the winter. And so this time was vitally important to be gathering it all in and then putting it up, canning it, drying it, whatever we needed to do to preserve it so that we would have enough supply for ourselves, our families, for our animals, livestock, to get through the winter. And there were some times when the summer offering was not that great because of the weather or whatever, that the harvest wasn't that large. And there were times when people didn't make it through the winter because they didn't have enough. And it's hard to imagine, because we are children of Costco, that we don't know about that. We can know that any given day we can run up to Costco and get a lifetime supply of anything. And so we don't think in those terms. And so consequently, I think one of the byproducts of that is we don't pay as close attention to the cycle of life, because we live in a world where we can have anything we want anytime. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the cycle. It doesn't matter. Just like you and I today, I mean, there are lots of blessings of it too. You and I today get to be together even though I couldn't get there in the car. It's a wonderful thing, but it also kind of causes us to be a bit separate from. Do you see what I mean? Do you get what I mean? We aren't paying that close attention because we don't have to. Questions or comments about that? Anybody? Are you guys still awake?
Yeah. Yes. It's a cycle.
Indeed.
It's a circle, it's a cycle, and each part is followed by the next part. So that's
Yep.
the name of that tune.
Yeah, and it's yes, exactly. And it's a vital part of how life unfolds. And because we're kind of insulated from it, because we live in a world that isn't dependent on that necessarily, we are kind of separate from it. We don't pay that close attention. And so it causes us, that's another way we don't necessarily show up and are aware of the moment in which we are, because we don't feel like we have to be. Do you see what I mean? But that also then removes us from that vital aspect of being connected to source and what's going on in the cycle of life that is an expression of that source. Does that make sense? And so spiritually, as conscious beings, this is something to pay attention to, because if we're feeling kind of numb, or we're feeling kind of down or a little depressed, because the time changed today, which means that we're going through several months now of short days where it's darker more than it is light. But my dear friends, this is also the time that invites us to go within and feel the radiance of the light within. The warmth within, which is always there, which never changes and never goes anywhere. And I was thinking about this and praying about this and saying, well, why is this hard for us? Why is it that we feel so badly about it coming to be fall and winter? And it's like, oh man, I wish I'd have spent more time at the beach. Oh God, I should have gone to the coast. I should have gone over to Ocean Shores again. I was gonna do that, but I just didn't get there. Oh man, you know, that kind of stuff. And here's the thing. One of the reasons that we walk around feeling less than, or that we haven't received it, or it's not happening, or we're not feeling fully loved, or fully received, or fully seen, or fully appreciated, one of the reasons is because when it was sunny, when it was warm, when we were with our loved one, when it was happening, whatever it was, we weren't fully present in that moment. And so we didn't really let ourselves be filled up to overflowing with what was available in that moment. Because if we had let ourselves be filled up in that moment, we'd have that inside of us now to kind of see us through. You see, we could call on that. We could bring that forth. We'd remember that feeling of what it felt like. But since we only let it in just a little bit because we're so busy doing everything else all the time, that there was just a little bit of it. Or here's another thing that happens. I don't know, Reverend Annie was there a week or two ago, wasn't she? And I don't know what talk she gave, but when she was here a couple weeks ago, she gave this talk and she made a statement that I wrote down because I really liked it. And she made this statement that said, comparison causes suffering. Comparison causes suffering. And I was really sitting with that. I thought that was a powerful statement. And I asked her where she got it. And she stole it from another minister who said it that she had heard a few weeks before that. And I really, really appreciated it. She and I had this conversation about that statement. Thinking about, what we tend to do is like, for example, let's say that a long time ago, you had the most amazing relationship. You had the sweetest love. Oh gosh, it was the sweetest love. There was never anything like it. Remember that kiss? Oh my goodness, there's never been a kiss like that. There's never been a hug like that. There's never been a love like that. And maybe the relationship ended up, maybe you guys went your separate ways, or maybe your partner made their transition. They're not here on the planet anymore. And so we go through life thinking, wow, there'll never be a love like that for me again. There couldn't be. There never could be. It was so wonderful. It was so big. It was so perfect. And it's gone. And so now we live in a stance where that was then, this is now, and this is now is not about that. So there never could be anything like that ever again. So if somebody came close to me who offered some kind of a companionship or some kind of a love or wanted to be close or whatever, I wouldn't allow it, because it's not that. It's not that. It's not the same. And so I miss the opportunity that's in front of me now because I'm comparing it to that. And it doesn't have to be just loving. It doesn't have to be a relationship. You know, remember the house you built? Oh, that house, it was the best house ever. It had everything. It was perfect. It was a perfect house. And I don't live there now. And so now there's never a house that will ever compare with that house. It reminds me of my a long time ago. This was many, many years ago. Way back when. Remember Snoqualmie Falls Lodge? It's not that anymore. There's something there now, but it's not that called that anymore. I forget what it's called now. But anyway, it used to be called Snoqualmie Falls Lodge, and people, we would go there and have breakfast. Did you ever have breakfast at Snoqualmie Falls Lodge? And if you did, it was incredible. It was an incredible thing. It was the most incredible breakfast ever. And my parents came to visit me, and it was their 35th wedding anniversary, and I took them to Snoqualmie Falls Lodge for breakfast to celebrate their anniversary. So they go through and have this breakfast, and I mean, it's something. There's everything you could possibly imagine that they bring to this breakfast. And when it was over, my father looked at me, and in his wisdom, he looked at me and he said, "Thanks, Joanne. Now, after this, breakfast is going to be downhill for the rest of my life." The eternal pessimist. So it's this, do you get what I'm saying to you? Is that we have these pinnacle moments in our lives, like when the leaves turn red. It's so amazing. It's so amazing thing. And then they drop, and then we're lamenting because they're not there anymore. And what I'm saying to you is that as a conscious being, the opportunity that we have is to take the lesson from nature and be fully present with what is in the moment that it is, and let ourselves be fully filled up with it, so that as we move along, we take it with us. And when something new shows up to us, whether it's a new person, a new house, a new car, a new opportunity, whatever that is, we can be fully present for that. No, it's not going to be the same as that previous thing. But if we can be fully present for what it is, we can fully get the blessing of what is right now. We don't have to experience it only part way because we're depressed about the fact that that person isn't here with us anymore. And we're not saying, no, not in any way minimizing anybody's grief or anybody's previous relationship. It was all wonderful. Thank God for it. But the fact is that we're still here, which means that life is still unfolding, which means that we will draw opportunities to us to have more pinnacle experiences, but we have to be open to them. That as we experienced those red leaves on those amazing trees, we now can experience, is there anything more beautiful than the silence of when it's snowing? Or one of those gray days when you get to stay home and wrap up in a blanket with a cup of coffee and a book. And there's no excuses to do anything else because the garden's asleep now. There's nothing to do outside now. So you don't have any reason not to be all wrapped up in your favorite blanket and feeling cozy and warm. Do you see what I'm saying? And we're just about, unbelievably, we're about to move into the holiday time again. Can you believe it?
No.
And it's very easy, especially when we're missing those we love who've left us, who aren't here now, who we've shared wonderful holidays with. To feel like we can't have a good holiday experience because so-and-so isn't here. It's not the same. Well, of course it's not the same. How could it be? But what you can do is create the experience that fills you up now. Maybe you don't have the same people to have Thanksgiving with that you used to have. Maybe you've moved here. Maybe you've moved here from someone else. And the people you love live far away and you can't be with them this year. Well, then go and be together. Are you guys going to have a Thanksgiving dinner together there at the church?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, then go and make it the best thing ever. Make sure there's enough gravy.
Cranberries.
And cranberries. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? You're still here, dear ones. We're still here. So what that means is, what nature reminds us is that the cycles are still happening, and they're all vital, and they're all important. And the last thing I'll say about that is, one of the reasons we're sitting in the political situation that we are, one of the ways we got here was an idea that things used to be better before, and we need to recreate that. Do you hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There was a better time. We're not there now. We need to make it like that. No. We need to be fully who we are now. Do we learn from the past? Yes, you bet we do. Are we grateful for the people and the experiences we had in the past? Yes. But we're here now, and so we have to experience. The opportunity is to stay present and be fully present, which is what is now, which is now we're going into the season of the dark, which means we have to be the light. We have to be the radiance. We have to be the warmth. And we'll lift ourselves up and we'll hold each other and we'll move through this time, which promises to be a very interesting winter on a lot of levels for a lot of reasons. But you and I can do this because we're brothers and sisters in spirit. And we understand this, and we're reaching in and using the tools and the reminders that we have to create the pinnacle that is life, that is source, God, love, in expression. And so from this place, let's just take a deep breath together. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes. And breathe. Breathe, and in this moment of now, feel invited to say yes to the warmth from within. The light from within. The radiance from within. Let it come up. Let it bubble up in you. Allow. That's your job. That's your task. Is to allow. Feel the energy coming up from your heart. And maybe in this moment, because it's been so recent, maybe you'll see it as one of those radiant trees that were so red that looked like they were glowing. And let that radiance, that glow, expand in you until you feel it all over. And if there are places in you that feel tight or you're a bit sore or stiff, just send that glow right there. Maybe it's joints. Maybe it's tight in your chest. Send that warming glow right there. And then to your mind, in the places where the yeah buts show up, where the concerns, where the doubts, where the fears show up, send the warmth and radiance right there. And in the places where we hold grief and sorrow and regret, send that warmth right there. Allow yourself to be filled to overflowing with the warmth and with the invitation that it's right here inside where the restoration occurs, where the renewing occurs. Come right here to be restored, to be lifted up. To be reconnected with the truth of you. And from this place of connection to divine source, you may be reminded of someone who could use this reminder right now, who could use this invitation to go within and be reconnected to the truth of them. Because whatever's going on for them, it may not be easy to do right now. If there's someone that you are reminded of, feel free to say their names aloud so that we can hold them with you. And for our sisters and brothers in spiritual community, and for our community at large, for our state as we go into election day this week, for the highest possible outcomes in all directions, for our country, for our planet, for all people, adults, children, the four-leggeds, nature, wildlife, and for the universe. We remember we are all one, and therefore, as we know the truth and claim the truth of ourselves, we claim it for all of us, and all life is lifted up in this moment. And for the opportunity to be reminded of the truth and power and beauty and grace and radiance of who we are as God, as love, as peace in expression. We are grateful, and so it is. Amen. Much love to you all.
The song that we're doing right now is for Grandpa Don, who's sitting right here. I have to say that one thing that Grandpa Don always talks about is his age, and he cuts it by 2 years. So also, this is for you. It's also one of my favorite songs. When trouble surrounds us, when evils come, the body grows weak, the spirit grows numb. When these things beset us, He doesn't forget us. He sends down His love on the wings of a dove. Everybody. On the wings of a snow white dove, He sends His pure, sweet love, sign from above. On the wings of a dove. When Noah had drifted on the flood many days, he searched for land in various ways. Troubles he had some, but wasn't forgotten. He sent him His love on the wings of a dove. On the wings of a snow white dove, He sent His pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove. When Jesus went down to the waters that day, He was baptized in the usual way. And when it was done, God blessed His Son. He sent Him His love on the wings of a dove. Now, nice and rousing. On the wings of a snow white dove, He sent His pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove, He sent His pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove, one more time. On the wings of a snow white dove, He sent His pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove.
Thank you, Jamie and Sally. Joanna, I hope you're still listening via Skype. When you read the poem from Robert Frost, it brought back all these memories. When I was about 12 years old, I was attending my first Unity Church in Southern California, and the minister there often quoted from Robert Frost, often read his poems as part of his lesson. And so for me, his lessons and Robert Frost became intertwined. And when I thought of one, I thought of the other. And as an adult, I sent him a letter. He was in a retirement home by then. And I sent him a letter just thanking him for his lessons and everything that he gave as a Unity minister. And he really appreciated that. But anyway, Joanna, thank you for reading that Robert Frost poem. So lovely. Okay, we're going to have a time of offering here, and so I invite you to take out your offering. As you're preparing your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are, and as you're writing your check or giving your gift, send your blessings out. I'm going to light a candle here if you'd like to light a candle for yourself or for a loved one. that'll be available to you. Also, we have a burning bowl available, and what that's all about is sometimes people like to write things on a slip of paper about what they'd like to release from their life and burn it in the flames. So that will be available to you too.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so coming forward, Debbie Lee and Nora is coming forward, Marilyn's coming forward. Together as a congregation, we're going to bless this offering. It's on the screen, so if we can read this together. Together we dedicate these gifts in service to the highest mission, recognizing and celebrating our oneness with God. We joyfully and freely participate in the law of circulation, of giving and receiving, knowing God is the source of all good. We are grateful. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. It looks like we have some children as part of... You want me to do that first? Okay. We have a Food for Life program, which is our outreach to the homeless. And people bring non-perishable goods, things that are easily carried in sacks for the homeless. So would anybody like to take the bag with them to fill it up with non-perishable items for the Food for Life program? Thank you, James. We'll get a bag to you following the service. Okay, and good news. Does anybody have any good news to share?
Oh,
Yes, Candace?
thank you, Debbie. My name's Candace, and I am going to, I have an intention to start the prayer circle back up for our church that we used to have over on Trenton. And it's gonna be on Wednesdays, and I'm thinking 10:30, but maybe 11. I'm gonna coordinate with Susan. We'll have it in the bulletin next week, and that'll start on the 15th.
Yay.
That's a wonderful idea, and Candace is one of our prayer chaplains. So if you have an interest in that, just give her kind of a, yeah, give her a thumbs up so she kind of has an idea of how many people might like to attend that. That's a wonderful idea. Okay. Yes, Millie?
If you notice that you're seeing an awful lot of advertisement for the Medicare and insurance and all of that. And just to know that I had United Healthcare down in California, AARP, and they are coming into Kitsap County. I was very upset because I couldn't get it here. So just so you know that if you don't do something fairly soon, because everybody tries to get in at the last minute, to find out who and what, I have like some people coming together over where I live, because I just mentioned it, and once they read the book and saw all of the, because there's so many coming in now into Kitsap County, that they're all vying for different things, so they're given all these extra benefits, and it doesn't cost you anything if you have both Medicare and Medicaid, and then only just minimal in comparison with others that I've all checked out. So talk to me afterwards if you're interested in at least finding out more about it.
Thank you, Millie. We do have some children in our Sunday school today, so we're going to welcome them in. And we have a little song we sing on the screen. Can we sing the song?
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
So Cindy is going to tell us about what they discussed.
Well, I'm happy to introduce Tyson and Zara. And they're, first timers today, so we're very thrilled to have them here. And we went with Joanna's topic of autumn gold. And so we had these lovely leaves. And then they noticed the Powers poster. And so we started talking about that. And Mr. Tyson here, it's too bad that Jay isn't still here, because oh my gosh, he is so smart. He can read, he's 6.5 years old. And as you can see, he's well absorbed in this book about these snaps and connections and stuff, but he could read every single word on that poster. And of course explained to me all about these snap connections and how they work and what to do. And so Jay would have just loved that conversation. And then Miss Zara over here is 4 years old, and she's smart as a whip. We were going over all these different words and what they mean and the different powers and choosing what color. So we just had an awesome time, and we're just so glad to have them. So we just had entirely too much fun. So let's bless these adorable kids.
Thank you, Cindy. So we have a blessing. It's on the screen. Can we bless both Cindy and the children?
We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. So nice to have children in the Sunday school. All right. So it's time for our closing peace song, and then we'll have the prayer protection following that. If you can stand up and grab a hand.
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.